I like this three box right here. This is my kind of triple box to be a part of. You want to be on I'm the left winger here, 6'4", 200. I'll go get the puck and I'll dish it to you guys and you go play and score. Why don't you start us off, Frank, with Bob?
Yeah, Bob, great to have you and great to see you. Miss working with you. But wanted to bring up something that Butchie tweeted about this week, and not the Elmer Ferguson, the Foster Hewitt Award. You are the Elmer Ferguson Award recipient from 2015, if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken. But there's been a push, an undercurrent from the media world to try and change some of the Hockey Hall of Fame and Broadcaster Association thought processes on how that award is determined. And I know something near and dear to Butchie's heart as well. What's going on there?
Yeah, you know what? And to your point, this the undercurrent was more of an overcurrent, and it was led by the guy right beside you. Bucci really took on a lead role in trying to get the NHL Broadcasters Association to expand the criteria for giving out and handing out the Foster Hewitt Memorial Award, because it had morphed into an award that was really only for play-by-play or color men on team broadcasts for the most part, and obviously some guys in the national media got it as well. But oftentimes it was rooted in whether you worked for a team, and that really precluded a lot of really good people. When I think back to my days watching Hockey Night in Canada in the 1960s, Ward Cornell was the host of Hockey Night in Canada for 12 years. He never won the award. Dave Hodge was a legend at Hockey Night in
Mhm.
Canada, a good
Mhm.
friend of mine, and he's never won the award. And we could go on and on. And I mean, if you do 12 years of Hockey Night in Canada, like Ward Cornell or Dave Hodge or Ron McLean, whatever the case may be, you should be winning the Foster Hewitt Memorial Award. And now that Bucci led the charge to get the Broadcasters Association to alter that, that can certainly happen. And Bucci's motivation, I'll let him speak for himself, but he obviously felt very strongly that Barry Melrose should should be a recipient of the Foster Hewitt Memorial Award, and I would 100% agree with that. And I feel very strongly that Don Cherry is a guy who should be honored with the Foster Hewitt Memorial Award as well. And now that the criteria has expanded, and you've got this what I think is a pretty big backlog of a whole bunch of deserving people. And I don't know whether this could possibly happen, but wouldn't it be cool if the NHL Broadcasters Association saw fit this coming year to come up with two recipients, two honorees? And I couldn't think of a better time or place for Barry Melrose and Don Cherry because of advancing years, because of advancing medical conditions, and all of that. An opportunity for them to receive these awards and know that their career, their legacy is deeply honored, and the fans very much are behind this sort of thing as well.
Yeah, that was my motivation, Bobby, as you mentioned. Just for the fans out there, the quote that I received over the weekend was, "You must be a play-by-play person, color analyst, or a host for an NHL team or a national broadcast." And my original tweet was, "Why can't we just use 7 words to change the criteria? That's all it takes. And why do we wait for people to die before we honor them?" And and that could obviously that can be anybody. It doesn't matter if you're 90, 80, 70, 60. Once somebody makes this kind of contribution, and Don and Barry, since they were 12 years old, their entire life has been hockey as players, professional players, coaches, and then media. And just think what an amazing night for them. And that's my main criteria. Let them have a moment with their family and friends where they can just have an amazing get together. And also, it's great television. As viewers and people who haven't met them, we've met them and we've shared those great moments with them. But your average fan doesn't. They know them only on television, and maybe they see them in a hotel lobby or at a game and they have a picture with them, and that's a great moment they still treasure. They will love it. Everybody wins here, and that's why it seems such an easy decision in my mind. Like you said, Bob, I like the multiple idea because and it wasn't just about Don and Barry. They're the headliners, but you
No,
mentioned the great,
absolutely.
yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up early because those people also dedicate your life to hockey. You know, away from your not great sacrifices. We have a great job. We play in the toy store of life. But late nights and all those nights on the road, and it's like you do it because you love the game. And that's what we want. We want to honor people who love and live the game. That's how I look at it, and this hopefully does that.
Yeah, and I'll make a preemptive strike here. I mean, there'll be some people who say, well, what about the way Don's career ended with Hockey Night in Canada. Fair enough. But I would say two things to that. Number one, at the time Don said what he said, I didn't like what he said. I didn't like how he said it. And when I was asked about it publicly, I said that. But number two, and maybe more importantly, I fervently believe that that cannot and should not be the defining moment in the career or the life of Don Cherry. I mean, as bombastic and controversial and all those things that Don Cherry was, this was a very kind man, a very caring man, a very compassionate guy who was out in front of a lot of really good causes and ahead of a lot of really good causes. And I mean, even beyond all of that, outside of Foster Hewitt, who pioneered the play-by-play position, Danny Gallivan, who perfected the play-by-play position, and Bob Cole, who took the baton from Danny Gallivan and just continued to do amazing things, voice and hockey together. Nobody could do that better. Beyond all of that, Don Cherry was easily, in my mind, the most impactful broadcaster associated with hockey ever. And quite frankly, it's not even close. On Saturday night, Canada would basically shut down during the first intermission of Hockey Night in Canada. People would turn on the game. They weren't even watching the game just to hear what Don Cherry said. And then for the next week, families and friends would argue, debate, agree, disagree about what Don Cherry said. You could not find an individual who had a more impactful career as a broadcaster. And when I think of even transcending hockey, Howard Cosell and Don Cherry, to me, are maybe two of the most impactful broadcasters in my lifetime for what they did. And they were unique and they were special. And I think it'd be wonderful for Don and Barry and a lot of these other guys that we talked about to get this to be honored.
So just for clarity's sake, because I'm sure someone listening at home is asking this question, the rule has not changed, or the criteria has not changed, or what's the status of it?
Well, I thought that the tweet Booch put out suggested that they were changing the rule.
Yeah, and that's what I was told. And I saw a different tweet last night saying that somebody talked to somebody and it wasn't changed. I checked my source again, and they said, no, it has been. So there is a little bit of a gray area. Exactly. And
We're putting the cart ahead of the horse there. But obviously, I mean, listen, I've got a lot of respect for the guys that run the NHL Broadcasters Association, but you got to change with the times. And
right.
to have a Foster Hewitt Memorial Award that goes to broadcasters, hockey broadcasters who have an incredible legacy and performance in the sport, and to not have Dave Hodge in there, to not have Ward Cornell, to not have Barry Melrose, to not have Don Cherry, because they don't fit a very narrow criteria of what the NHL Broadcasters Association. I mean, that it has to change. And I think if the NHL and again, not knowing exactly what the status of this is, Bucci, because as you said, there seems to be some level of confusion on it. At some point, whether it's the Hockey Hall of Fame Board of Directors or the National Hockey League or somebody, it needs to be addressed, because we're not doing right by the greats in broadcasting. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what these awards are supposed to be about. It's to honor the legacy, not just of the individuals, but the game itself. And you can't write a broadcasting history of the National Hockey League without mentioning Don Cherry or Barry Melrose or Dave Hodge or Ward Cornell or Ron McLean and in future generations, James Duffy and Steve Levy and on and on and on it goes. Like let's be real here. So I just I don't do podcasts anymore. I don't do many appearances anymore. I'm happily retired, and I want to stay that way. But this was something that was near and dear to my heart, because I really believe it's an important thing for the media honorees. And I think, Frank, to your credit and to the Professional Hockey Writers Association, they did a good job of adjusting to the digital age and not getting hung up on, because for a long time, Yelmer Ferguson, if you weren't a beat reporter in the National Hockey League, you weren't going to get you weren't going to be honored with the award. That changed, and rightfully so. And I just think we need to be more inclusive on that front.
And just two quick things that you talk about, Don. I'll never forget. I covered the Stanley Cup Finals, 2000, 2004, the last time ESPN and ABC had hockey before the interruption, the 17-year interruption. And I'll never forget, in between periods, all the beat writers would leave their spot, find a television
Oh,
like bugs hot July night and just listen to what Don would say. Like I've never seen that in my history of covering any sport at ESPN, that they would actually, you had to hear what he said. That was powerful. And for Barry, no one in American history of American television and hockey had the 25 to 30-year impact he had. And I saw it again, whether doing Sports Center, out on the road with him. He Elvis Presley. You go to dinner, Barry walks across the room at the dinner at the steakhouse, and people who knew him were in awe, and people who didn't know who he was were like, that guy is somebody. He has something. That guy's a star. I don't know who he is. The dude somewhere in Pitt, but they knew. And so the impact that Barry had in America, being a kid from Saskatchewan, and again, coaching Wayne Gretzky, winning a junior, winning a Memorial Cup, winning a Calder Cup as well at Adirondack, and almost winning the Stanley Cup, 3 wins away. And then obviously the impact he made in television, how he treated people in public, how he took every picture, signed every autograph. Just he was a great role model for me to watch him, interact with fans. So those two stories for me around Don and Barry are again just another reason. I mean, their resumes speak for themselves, but those little moments as well behind the scenes are kind of like if there is a tiebreaker, those are certainly breaks the tie.
and they're both far better dressers than any of the three of us.
Yeah, that's
Well,
right.
that's for sure. Bob, on your way out, I know that you are fully retired now. No more dabbling. July 1 was your last day. It's the most wonderful time of the year for hockey fans. Are you going to miss not being at World Junior this year?
The best way I would answer that question is I'm not going to miss having to get on a plane on Christmas Day and fly to the Twin Cities and spend Christmas and New Year's away from my family, especially now that I've got two grandkids. And so I really look forward to really enjoying, well, for the first time since who knows when, back in at some point in the 80s, I guess. Just the opportunity to stay home at Christmas and New Year's and be with my family. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most, and I'm sure I'll watch some of the games. But yeah, it's great to be a granddad. I'm loving it.
All right, Bob. Well, let's listen. Let's make our way to the Hoot Owl in Canton, New York sometime and share a couple beers and talk hockey and talk St. Lawrence and hockey up there. And I know you had great memories up there in that great part of the world. In college hockey, we mentioned Clarkson and St. Lawrence, but great memories of the Hoot Owl. We need to make some more there.
Yeah, and just a quick update. The Hoot Owl, which is a great bar in Canton, New York.
Legendary.
But Danny Fay, the owner and proprietor of the Hoot Owl, who I was also happen to be good friends with former NHL general manager Mike Smith, recently passed away. And
Mm-hmm.
Danny was a real true original, and so was the Hoot Owl. And his famous line, he had two of them: "You never know," and "Scary, isn't it?" So, in any case, here's to here's to
So,
Danny Fay, the Hoot Owl, and Barry and Don and everybody else, and hopefully we'll see the Foster Hewitt Memorial Award going out to people who truly deserve it, and that includes obviously all those that have won it in advance of this.
oh, thank you so much, Bob. I mean, to be my first episode with Frank here and to have you on, I'm honored. You're such a great energy source covering the sport for so long. I know after a while it empties the tank, and you're just really enjoying what you're doing now and the grandkids. That's a magical moment for sure. And I can't thank you enough for jumping on. I know it's kind of interrupts the day, but I couldn't be more appreciative of you. And thank you so much.
Awesome, guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Frank.
See you, Bob.
The great Bob McKenzie, the Hall of Famer. And again, he was the dude for so long. And you, of course, worked with him, right? You were right. I never worked with him. I would see him at the Stanley Cup Finals, Frank, and the All-Star games and things like that. But you were right next to him.
I mean, simply the best. Can't say it any
Hmm.
clearer than that. What an unbelievable person, what he's meant to me in my career, and how much I learned from him, how to phrase things, how to do things, when to call, what to do.
Oh,
It's
I can't imagine.
invaluable. Changed my career,
Yeah.
changed my life.
He should write a book about that, and to give it out to young journalism students for sure.